you all for being here today. You know, you all are sharing a very prestigious title as ATHENA finalists, but you're all linked in another very much deeper way, and that is really through your shared commitment to improving the community and improving the workplace and really empowering women in their own right. So let's get started. Mary, I'm going to start with you. What does success in leadership look like?
You know, in my personal experience, being successful as a leader really comes down to bringing people along with you and being able to say, I might be in an uncomfortable situation, but I'm gonna face it. The things that have impacted my career the most are the things that were uncomfortable at first. You know, I'm the type of person who, if something just, I'm not 100% sure I can do it, I'll say yes and I'll figure it out.
I also agree with that. Success, I also believe, is being able to do what your passion is and loving to go to work every day, or loving what you're doing every day, but also paying it forward, because we've all been blessed. Yeah. We've all been blessed, and if we're able to leave something back and share some of the knowledge we've gained or captured over the years, I think that's what success is for me.
What do you look for in a leadership opportunity?
I think that when there's an opportunity for you to be able to lead and be progressive in a new role, always something comes up unexpected that you didn't realize that you were going to have to stretch yourself. But I think that that's an awesome opportunity to kind of grow yourself. Once you're growing as a leader, you allow the project and those that are being impacted by the project to grow as well.
I actually look for the opportunity to develop other leaders. I think that the important thing to be to sustaining a nonprofit organization or any organization or company is you have to bring in new life.
I think that's a great perspective. I also think a lot of times, what can I learn from the situation? So you also look at what you can bring to make you a successful leader, but when I look at an opportunity, I look a lot at what can I take away from it to then be able to broaden my perspective in another positions.
I really look for a challenge, like I think that we all do, but I also think it's very important to have a culture where the tone at the top, I think, is set in a way that people do have the opportunity to thrive.
What do you attribute to the success you have had in leadership positions? Tanya, why don't we start with you?
I think my spiritual foundation and having mentors, supporters in my world.
When I look back at my career, it's been something that's really scared me, something that I've been a really untraditional fit for. So right now I'm an engineering manager, and I manage a team of 12 engineers as a non-engineer. I was scared, I was stressed, but then I really came into my own because I went back to my fundamentals, like back to basics.
For me, it comes down to really realizing that the things that are most challenging to you are never going to feel easy.
If you've got passion and you care about issues deeply, I say why not?
So confidence is what we need to build in our future women leaders.
Absolutely, and I speak to women all the time. I was in Manhattan this week talking to the Fortune 50 women, the most powerful women in the world, and they're talking about how they can share their stories to empower other women to take risks. But also, if you don't have innate confidence, and a lot of women don't, you know, you didn't get encouraged when you're younger. You know, maybe it was the brother who got all the attention because he was an athlete and you were the academic, like happened in my family. But it's something you can just decide to be. You can decide in your own head that I'm going to walk into this room and act like I own it. And even if you're faking it, you don't feel that internally, you have to display a confidence in yourself, or why would anyone else have confidence in you?
If you're confident in the difference that you're bringing to the table, you know, you can't really worry about your competition, let's say, or what others are doing in the space. You have to really go forward in a way that you feel that the right people or the people who are closely aligned with your beliefs and how you're doing things are going to align themselves with you, and that ultimately serves you in your best interest.
Have you noticed a change in the culture in the workplace as far as helping advance women in the workplace and really cultivating that strength for women in the workplace?
Definitely, and actually I was going to say both of what these two wonderful women said, but I think culture is changing significantly, and I think it's the younger generation that's really driving that change. I see that people are working more collaboratively together. really wanting to work together, make a difference, and it's not as much as I'm in this spot and I'm not going to help you get anywhere, especially with women, because we want to rise as many women as we can to the top, and I see us working much more collaboratively together.
One thing I would just add to that is that I think if you see something being done to someone else or being treated, and it's not sort of necessarily the big things, but offhand comments about, oh, well, she's a mother, she's not going to want to travel, or things like that, that probably the people saying them don't mean in any kind of a bad way, but I think it's important in a leadership role to say, well, hey, wait a second, did you ask? You know, do you know this for a fact? And just stand up for others who might not be in the room when this stuff is happening and might not have as much of a voice as you do.
And welcome new people into the organization.
Yes.
You know, they come in and they go into their office and you're walking down the hallway and you say, oh, who is that? Where did they come from? You know, go in and introduce yourself and offer their assistance.
What, for the next generation of women leaders, what challenges are they going to face?
So I've been thinking about this a lot because I think this conversation is largely in our national dialogue. The first women in the workplace were really carving the path. Now I think the challenge is widening the path.
So at some point, you hope that we will not necessarily be having to talk about women in leadership. It's just going to be leaders.
Exactly. Yes, that would be great.
Is there a long way to go for that, though, do you think?
I think it's going to be a challenge, but I really think that, you know, that it will happen.
I think the biggest thing is just being constantly connected. I really do think that is a challenge that we really have to watch and set boundaries. I can't say it enough.
One of the things that just really intrigued me the other day when they had the young lady looking at the picture of Michelle Obama.
Oh, yeah.
And just imagining what her life could be. And so again, as women, how do we get to that particular point that we're with the 5 and the 6-year-olds and even younger, and starting to cultivate relationships, cultivate our future leaders, and really helping to pay it forward.
I was just with my granddaughter, who's 8, and you think kids don't watch TV or they're listening, but they are. And she said to her mother, I can't wait to vote. Now she's 8 years old. Now if we had all of our children saying that, can you imagine what we will have in this country?
Really cool.
We will have women out there who's running for office and who's doing a wonderful job, because there's women all over the world who's holding these wonderful positions. But I'm encouraged when by the various movements that are out there. And I think the young people are shifting the paradigm now.
I agree, 100%.
And they're going to be taking that paradigm to another level.